The crash probably happened in the blink of an eye. The car came out of nowhere. Or maybe you hit the ground before you even noticed that stair step was loose. Injuries can happen before you even have time to react. And then it seems like almost immediately the phone calls start. Maybe an insurance adjuster is hounding you, trying to get a recorded statement. Could be your doctor's office or the hospital wondering when you're going to pay those medical bills. Maybe your boss wants to know when you're going to be back to work. And in the meantime, you're trying to deal with pain, medical appointments, missed work, and an insurance claim process that seems way more complicated than it needs to be. If you were hurt in a car crash, trucking accident, trip and fall, or some other accident in Holmen, Crosse County, or anywhere in western Wisconsin, there are three important things you need to know right away. You see, Wisconsin personal injury claims are affected by a lot of different rules and laws, such as auto accident laws, premises liability rules, product liability statutes, insurance rules and policies, and legal deadlines that you may not even know about. A Holmen Personal Injury Lawyer can help you understand what needs to be protected before evidence disappears or statements get used against you later on. I'm Craig Steger. I'm a personal injury attorney with more than 20 years of experience handling serious injury cases, including lawsuits and jury trials against big insurance companies and corporations. So here are those three things you need to know after a Holmen personal injury. First, you don't have to give a recorded statement, especially to the insurance company, for the other driver or property owner or whoever was responsible for your injuries. Insurance adjusters will make it sound like it's routine and that you don't have a choice in the matter. They'll tell you they just want your side of the story, and they'll probably seem friendly. But you see, a recorded statement can create a lot of problems later on, especially if you're in pain at the time, or maybe you're on medication, you're confused, maybe you're still recovering from a surgery, or just overwhelmed. You're still trying to understand what happened. And at the beginning of your case, you may not know the full extent of your injuries. Your doctors may not even know that. You may not know if there was witnesses and what they saw or what they heard, or whether there was video or surveillance that captured the accident. You may not yet know whether there was some sort of a defective condition or dangerous product that contributed to or caused your injuries. You may not know whether there was a particular safety statute or rule that was violated. This is especially true in, let's say, trucking cases where there's lots of regulations that apply to truckers and trucking companies. You may not know whose insurance company is actually responsible for your injuries. So before giving a recorded statement, make sure you understand who's asking for it, which insurance company they represent, and whether you're actually legally required to give it. It's a good idea, if you can, to talk to an attorney before you have any such conversations with the insurance company or their adjusters. Second, if you can do it safely, photograph and document the scene as soon as possible after an accident. This is especially important when the injury arose from things that are temporary. Ice melts. That broken step, well, it finally got repaired. Wet floors, they tend to get mopped right away. Cars get moved, repaired, or sometimes lost. Farm machinery gets repaired, lost, moved. A dangerous condition that existed at the time of your accident might get repaired and, dealt with before you ever have a chance to go back and inspect it. So if you can do it safely, take photos and videos from many angles as possible, close up, far away. Try to show whatever condition it was that caused or contributed to the injury or the accident. Show the surrounding area, obviously any vehicle damage. Try to capture any identifying information, license plates, if there's any names or numbers, other decals on the sides of the machinery or the trucks. Try to get pictures of those as well. Try to get any pictures that might show any skid marks, debris left over, lighting. What's the nearest lighting? Are there any signs, stairs, railings, anything that may have potentially contributed to the incident or may help set the stage for what happened? If you can, get names and phone numbers for any witnesses. Write down what happened while it's still fresh in your mind. You don't want to do this 2 months later. You can forget a lot of things later on. Now, as soon as you can, you want to get this stuff and request things such as surveillance video. You see, a lot of times gas stations, even homes, local businesses, They may have security cameras, but that video tends to get recorded over or lost unless it is specifically preserved. So you need to reach out and try to obtain that as soon as possible. And if you do hire an attorney, they will do that for you. In a Holmen personal injury claim, video evidence could be the difference between an injury claim where the insurance company pays it and one where they deny it entirely. And here's a third thing, and this is probably the most important. Get medical attention and try to follow your doctor's recommendations as soon as possible after an accident. This isn't the time to tough it out. Delaying treatment can be bad for your health, but it can also really hurt your case. So get checked out. Tell the medical providers what hurts, where it hurts, and what kinds of things make it worse. Now, don't exaggerate, but also don't minimize your injuries either. If your neck hurts, tell them exactly where your neck hurts. If it's your back, which part of your back hurts. If it's your shoulder, knee, head, hip, wrist, other things, make sure you let the doctors know that, even if some of your injuries are more painful than others. If your symptoms get worse over the next few days, let them know that as well. Now, some injuries are pretty obvious right away, but others become more clear after the adrenaline wears off. You may not have headaches right away. That back pain may not show up for a day or two or more after an accident. So try to follow the treatment plan that your doctors give you. Make sure you go to those appointments, and if you're going to miss them, make sure you notify them in advance. Go to any therapy that's recommended and try to finish it, even if you start to feel better during the middle of it. Follow up with any specialist that your doctors send you to. You see, insurance companies love delays. They love gaps in treatment or missed appointments. They look for any excuse to argue that you weren't really hurt, or if you were hurt, you recovered very quickly. Good medical care will protect your health, but it also helps create that documentation that's so important to prove your injuries later on. Now, one more point. If a serious injury becomes a fatal injury, the issues change a little bit. In those cases, the family may need to speak with a wrongful death lawyer about who can bring the claim, what damages may be available, and what deadlines may apply to your claim under Wisconsin law. After a serious injury in Holmen, decisions early on can make a big difference. So don't let the insurance company control the narrative. Don't let critical evidence disappear. If you have questions after a serious injury in Holmen or the surrounding areas, feel free to call or text the number on the screen. And if you want to understand what happens next, watch the next video on the screen or pinned below, where I explain the entire process of a Wisconsin personal injury claim from start to finish.